Okay, today we are doing a May tie back carry with a waistless finish because I am 34 weeks pregnant and prefer finishes that are waistless. So I have my Soul Slings 100% linen soul tie, which I find incredibly lightweight and supportive, which I love. So I am going to tie the waist of this right underneath my bust above my bump. Um, and of course, you may leave the waist tied of this, which is how you would typically wear a May tie. I'm just going to show you how you can finish it off without this waist in the very end. So I'm going to tie a double knot, so that is placed comfortably for me right now, and then I'm going to leave the panel hanging down. I have a 2.5-year-old toddler, so I'm going to be showing you my toddler version of getting this on. Keep in mind that it would be very different if you had a smaller child. I'm going to do a hip scoot. This is particularly easier for me right now being pregnant. I could do a version where I tie the carrier in front and scoot him around, but that's harder for me being pregnant. So I like to have it tied in back where I already want it, get him back there, and then flip the panel up, which works perfectly fine because he's older and I know that he's not going to throw himself off my back. But you may not want to do that with a younger child or somebody that's more wriggly. So the next thing that I'm going to do is grab my two tails, hold them up, pull the panel up and kind of shift my body back and forth. That's going to get him seated down in the seat and in the panel properly, and it's going to get him raised up really high so that it's not slumping. That's a really important step to do. I'm going to then take the tail underneath my arm, and I'm going to create the first pass that's going to go over the first leg, and then I'm going to pop it under his second leg, and I'm spreading it out so that it supports his bum nicely. So once that goes under the second leg, it will come around to my front, and I will tuck it down between my knees. And then I'm going to grab my other strap and do the same thing, bring it underneath my arm, and spread it out over his bum, going over the first leg. And then I will bring it under the second leg. And you don't have to spread your passes. You can just keep them bunched, but especially with a bigger child, spreading the passes gives you more support, which is nice. You're going to notice I pull the strap there over my shoulder and kind of bring it around a little bit. This helps me tighten up the carry a little bit if I didn't get it perfect, which is a common issue. So I am going to tie these straps. I'm going to do tied Tibetan. First I'm going to show you knotless. I do find that the linen holds really well for knotless. So I go over the strap and then underneath and pull it down, and I'm going to spread it kind of over my chest here for comfort. So knotless works well for me. Like I said, I feel like the linen holds pretty nicely. I don't have any issues with it, particularly because being really pregnant and having a busy 2.5-year-old, I am not typically wearing him for long periods of time, which means that I don't have issues with the knotless finish loosening up, just because he tends to not be up long enough for that to even happen these days. But I am also going to show you how I do a knotted version of this for if I'm going to wear him for longer, or you do have some issues with slipping, because any knotless finish can have issues with slipping, of course. So something to keep in mind. So you can finish the carry just like this, but I want to show you doing the waistless finish as well. So if you either just prefer a waistless finish, or if you are pregnant like me and really want the waistless finish, then you can do that, and it takes the pressure kind of off that spot right there. So I'm going to untie, and I will tuck one of the tails just down between my knees while I work on the first one. And all I'm going to do is bring it up the same way that I did my straps, and I'm going to finish it basically Tibetan knotless, just like I did those first two straps. And again, I'm going to show you how I do this knotted as well. Because this is a linen carrier, It's very lightweight and thin, so I don't find that this is too bulky or too many layers, which I think a lot of people may have a question about. It's really not an issue at all. I don't find that it's restrictive or too thick. It's just really supportive, and it feels incredibly comfortable for me. I think that I prefer this finish even when I'm not pregnant, probably. I just like things that are not wasted. Um, so this is really perfect for that. Um, so like you can see, just like, the first two straps, I do the waist the same way. I spread it out over my chest, and then I do the knotless finish that, goes over the strap and then under it. And then you don't have any, pressure point um, around your midsection at all. It's all kind of up, um, through the straps. So I'm going to show you, like I said, my knotted version that I really like if I'm going to be wearing for a longer period of time. And especially if you have a heavier child, or if you have a carrier that does tend to not grip or hold as well, which can certainly be an issue with some. So I'm going to start off the same, where I bring it up and I cross it over the strap and back under, but then what I'm going to do is basically just tie a knot here. So I'm going to then drop the tail down over that first pass, and then I'm going to reach my hand in there and pop it up, and that creates a knot that I will then kind of tighten over towards the strap. And I don't have my child in here anymore because he wasn't distracted and cooperative for long enough the first time I was wearing him to show you all of these finishes. So it might look a little bit awkward since I don't have him in there. But I really like this version as well, with the knots. So again, it's going to go up, and I'm going to cross it over the strap, bring it down underneath, and drop it down over that first pass, and get it kind of spread out, and then you can tighten so that it's spreading nicely over your chest. So drop it down, and then you're just going to pop it up, and it will create that knot for you. And then you can tighten that knot over towards the strap. So those are my tails. And then, of course, as before, you could do this with just your tails and leave your waist tied. But I want to show you, I do the same thing with my waist straps with this knotted version as well. So again, just untie the waist, tuck one down between your legs, and then you can bring that waist strap up, and I kind of just do it either slightly above or just right over the other knot that I already created. So I'm going to do it the same way. It goes over the strap first, and then drop it down, and I'm going to pull it up to tie the knot. And then I will do the same thing with the other side. And like I said, linen in particular is very lightweight and incredibly supportive. I do not find that this is too bulky or restrictive or uncomfortable in any way. I think it kind of looks like it is, especially when there's no weight in the carrier, because like I said, my child isn't actually in here. I'm just doing a close-up demonstration of how I tie the knots. So I think it looks a little bit funny, but I really find it to be incredibly comfortable, and it's not overwhelming. I think if you had a much thicker, like, wrap conversion May tie, it could possibly be a lot of fabric across your chest, so you might modify it. But maybe not even then. I honestly don't have a really thick wrap conversion May tie to compare. But I like it this way. So hopefully that is helpful, and you can see how comfy and awesome it is, and I hope that this works for you. Thanks, guys.